Okay, so tonight we're going to open a box. This is a box that I just got today. It's an item that I purchased off of eBay. It's a vintage electronics item, and generally I don't like to buy vintage electronics off of eBay, just due to the fact that most people don't know how to ship items properly. But this is something that I've been looking for quite a while. And the other problem with eBay and electronic items, most people generally want way more money for what they're selling than what that's really truly worth. So generally I shy away from getting stuff off of eBay, but I got this for a pretty decent price, and I'll show you why I wanted it. But I usually get most of my vintage electronics, TVs and radios and so forth, generally get those off of either a Craigslist listing or a swap meet or flea market of something of that nature. Somewhere where I can actually see what I'm buying, look at what I'm buying, and then once I purchase it and pay for it, when it gets home, until it gets home, it's my responsibility. So just opening this box and looking at this, this is probably not a very good packing job. I'll be shocked if this thing's not broke. And that's another reason why I'm making the video, is if I do have a problem, if it is broke, then I have detailed evidence that the item did get here, in fact broke, if I have to try to get my money back. So like I said, I will show you later why I got this item, but for now I just want to get it out and make sure it's not broke. It should have been double boxed, and it wasn't. It is a tube electronic item, which makes it even more precarious to ship. But this is nothing more than a single box with a whole bunch of packing peanuts. I'm going to try to get it out without getting peanuts all over the place. And as you can see, probably not very good yet, but as you can probably tell, it is a radio. And it appears it's a Bakelite radio. And it appears that it didn't break. That's good. Of course, I haven't looked inside any of the tubes yet, but more than likely, if the cabinet's not broke, it probably made the trip. As you can see, this is I think it's a mid-50s model Zenith tube radio, AM FM, and oddly enough, I do not have a tube radio that's AM FM. Now I have some AM models. Obviously I've restored some, But most of the radios that I restore, I give away. And AM in my area is pretty poor, as it is in a lot of places around the country, unless you're in a larger metro area where there's a lot more AM stations. But where I live, AM's not very good. So I'm forced to listen to a lot of FM radio. And what I like to do when I'm working in my shop is listen to the radio. And I have a radio in my shop, and I'll show it to you. It's a Panasonic solid state radio. But I was looking for a tube type radio, just simply to have in my shop to listen to and play every day, and while I'm working. So I needed it to be in pretty good condition. It's not something that I wanted to do a total restoration on. It's something that I can clean up. It's in pretty good shape. It's complete. I don't have to restore something even older, or completely doing a restore on it. So what I'll do is we'll pop the back off of this and take a look at it. I'm thinking it'll probably come down to a simple recapping job, testing of all the tubes, maybe replacing any weak tubes, cleaning the Bakelite cabinet real good, and then throw it up on the workbench where I plan to keep it and put it into service. Well, that didn't sound good. As I turned it over, something just rattled. So I don't know, it could be a loose screw in there or something, but we'll open it up and see what we got. Okay, gang, got the chassis out of the cabinet now. That was uneventful. We got the back off, and got the chassis out and taking a look at it, and looking at it, and it looks like it's in pretty darn good shape for mid-1950s, maybe late 1950s. I'm not sure. This is a model H723Z, and I'm not an expert on Zenith radios and what models they produced when and all that, but interesting, that piece that I heard rattling around in the cabinet was none other than a piece of bumblebee cap. I know that's a real shocker. That I don't know. It could be underneath here, and could be one that exploded. There's a bumblebee right there on the antenna. There's one. But I don't really see another one. This it could be. I don't think it's off that. That's, well, it could be the back side of this cap, because I believe that's the same color code indicator. It is not that one. But I don't see another one of those bumblebee caps in there, so it's got to be off the back side of that. I bet when I get that out, that's let's see if I can get some light on here. There's maybe what, 8, 9 caps that need to be replaced, wax caps, whether they're wax or bumblebees are automatic, they're gone. But what I'll do is go through and just automatically carte blanche take these old wax and paper wax caps and go through and check all the resistors good. Let's see, there's an electrolytic right here. Looks like that's just a 2-section. Looks like maybe 80 and 40 microfarad at 150 volts. Speaker seems to be in good shape, and looks like the dial cord's in pretty good shape too. Which, as everybody knows, it's a real pain in the ass to restring one of these, so that's a huge bonus. And all the tubes are intact. It doesn't look like any of the tubes broke in shipment. Although there looks like a couple of those tubes have had some hours on them. So looks like there are 7 tubes. Looks like the antenna's in pretty good shape. So very good. Like I said, I got a good deal on this one. Shipping was reasonable, and looks like this cabinet's in really good shape. Even the old speaker cloth's in pretty good shape, so that'll clean up real nice. Okay, well, onward and upward, as they say. I'll have to get to work. I don't have the schematic for this yet, and I'm going to get that before I do anything, just to make sure that it doesn't look like anybody's really been in here and changed anything. I'm not seeing anything that's an obvious replacement, but I just want to make sure that I have the right schematic and the components are the correct values according to what the schematic says, not just take for face value what somebody may have put in here since it was manufactured. So I'll shoot some video on the recapping progress, and then clean it up a little bit, make sure the tubes are good, and show you what it does before I put it away on the workbench. Okay, so here's my messy workbench where the new radio is going to go, and you can see my workbench right now is really messy. But what I do have is an old Magnavox TV. It's probably from the 80s, as well as a VCR. Occasionally I watch some TV down here when I'm working. There's my Blondered Tongue VHF Channel 3 broadcaster and VCR that I broadcast throughout the house, basically, for vintage TVs. And then up here is the radio that I'm currently using. This is an old Panasonic dual speaker AM/FM. I've had this radio a long time, probably 30 years. My Panasonic label is gone, but you can see it's an AM/FM radio, and it still works great. It's a dual speaker, and it's all original. Sounds pretty good, but
Josh. But Mark Sanchez, this is coming back.
It performs really well. It just doesn't have the sound.
That was just me.
It just doesn't have the sound that I'm looking for from a tube radio. My AM tube radios sound great, but AM is not really very good around here except at night. Late at night I'll listen to AM. So that's why I was looking for an FM, a radio that could provide me the FM band while I'm working on electronics here in the shop. So that's kind of the reason for the purchase. And like I said, I'll be getting started on that and shooting some video of how it operates.